Welcome to the library of Richard John Uniacke here at Uniacke Estate Museum Park. I'm holding in my hand a book titled Report of the Trial of Professor John W. Webster, indicted for the murder of Dr. George Parkman. And it was owned by James Boyle Uniacke, one of Richard John Uniacke's sons, who would later become the first Premier of Nova Scotia under responsible government. And the book talks about the case of Dr. George Parkman, who was murdered on November 23rd, 1849, the accused being Professor John W. Webster. This is one of the earliest uses of forensic evidence to identify a body, and the murder trial was the equivalent of the case of the century. It was known that Webster owed Parkman money, and they both taught at Harvard. Now, a few interesting things about this case. The judge was a close relative of the victim and instructed the jury that they were not to return without a guilty verdict. He also issued one of the first reasonable doubt instructions to the jury. And according to Massachusetts law, Webster wasn't even allowed to testify in his own defense. I'll just read you a little excerpt which tells you about the outcome of the case. And now nothing remains but the solemn duty of pronouncing the sentence which the law affixes to the crime of murder, of which you stand convicted. Which sentence is, and at this point the court and the spectators rose, that you, John W. Webster, be removed from this place and detained in close custody in the prison of this county, and thence taken at such time as the executive government of this commonwealth may, by their warrant, appoint to the place of execution, and there be hung by the neck until you are dead. Now, after extensive review of this case, Robert Sullivan, who was chief criminal prosecutor of Massachusetts, was convinced that Webster was innocent, and that the murderer was actually Webster's accuser, a Mr. Ephraim Littlefield. For more treasures of the Uniacke Library, visit us again.